I got the job in the life that I wanted, but I was still stressed all the time. Even when I was with my family, subtly in the background, part of my brain was still thinking about work. And I felt on edge. I was impatient and unable to fully relax. And for a long time, I thought this was just part of being driven. I thought this was being responsible until one day, all that changed. Oh, I actually got shingles because I had chronic stress. And in this video, I'm going to show you the process I used to stop carrying every business problem around in my head and in my body. I'll walk you through it using the AI software that I built for my private coaching clients. After more than 10 years of studying and teaching productivity and work life balance, I have learned that the best way to actually create more freedom is to deal with the thoughts and the pressures in here that keep dragging you down. I am all about leverage, and this inner game work is extremely high leverage. And there's two reasons why. Number one, if you are always operating with that low grade stress, even subtly, your brain goes into protection mode because it's wired for safety. That means that the prefrontal cortex, the part of you that makes you a genius, where you make good decisions and you think of creative solutions, it literally begins to atrophy. It weakens. In other words, you get dumb. Chronic stress makes you dumber, but releasing those shoulds, those mental attachments will make you smarter. Number two, the psychological work that I'm going to walk you through, it makes you happier. It made me happier. And maybe more importantly, as a business owner, it made me steadier, a steadier leader, both of my business and my family. So if you want your team to buy into your vision, if you want your family to actually like the person who's providing for them, then it pays to take the time to do this. I call this process the release method. So, what are we releasing? The mental attachments that drive the stress. I call these shoulds, and they might sound familiar. I should be further along by now, or my marketing team needs to make this work. We have to exceed our revenue target this quarter. Or, and this is one of my favorites, I shouldn't have wasted so much time. This type of mental chatter might feel motivating to you, but it's a little bit like a cattle prod. It is unpleasant and it is reactionary. At its best, the old cattle prod of your inner critic is inefficient at moving you forward. And at worst, as I found out, it is literally toxic to your body and your soul and your relationships for that matter. So the release method is not about just thinking happy thoughts. It's not positive thinking. It's about targeting those specific attachments and releasing them. So this is a bit like a workout for your mind. It is challenging. You will probably not like it, fair warning, but it is effective, especially if you practice it. So before we start, I want to shout out a couple of smart people who I stole ideas from when I was developing this process. The truth is, I've done a lot of research. There's a lot of great writing and research on this sort of inner game work, these cognitive processes, but it's worth highlighting two people in particular. And the first is John Whiting. He's an amazing dude and has an amazing system called charge clearing that targets specific emotional charges. And it's personally worked wonders for me if you are an online coach or consultant, especially, and if you can handle uh, his Detroit accent, shall we say. Go back to Instagram, find him on there, read his book, hire him. He's great. The second is a guy named Stephen Hayes. And Stephen Hayes, you might be familiar with if you've ever looked into acceptance and commitment therapy. So this release method, by the way, is explicitly not therapy, but Stephen has some great research about the power of living from your own value system as opposed to being owned or being in reaction to your own thinking. He has several books, and personally, I would recommend starting with one called Get Out of Your Mind and Into Your Life. All right, shout outs complete. Let's go over to my desk and work this out in real time together. All right, here we are in the release method dashboard. This is a sample dashboard, and I'm going to show you exactly how this works. Now, I could just make something up, but I figured in order to really show how this process is so effective, I want to use a real thing, a real should or attachment that I identified in myself today. Yes, things get a lot better as as you use it, but occasionally, yeah, stuff catches me and I want to release it. So this week, I'm doing an event for my clients. It's the first time that I'm doing a group version of leading people through the release method process, and I'm kind of nervous about it. I kind of feel like, what if people hate it and they all ask for a refund and it's the worst? And maybe you've felt that way before. But here's what I know. When I come into a client engagement, thinking about that or attached to that, it's going to shrink my thinking. I won't be able to be present for them and they won't get the best of me and they won't have a great experience. It's kind of like going skiing and being like, I better not hit a tree. I better not hit a tree. It's like your brain naturally curves towards that tree. And before you know it, you're skiing like how I ski usually. So we want to keep you safe and we want to make you a better leader for your business and not have you be run by the shoulds. So what I'm going to do is just copy this from this little inventory. My clients should love my upcoming event. I'm going to hit the start button up here. This is going to open up a AI chat experience where this facilitator knows the process and knows how to guide you through it. So I'm just going to paste that and hit send, and then we'll see what this says. It says, got it. So the charge underneath is something like your clients should love your upcoming event, and there's some uncertainty or worry about whether they will. Before we go further, is this more a fear about what might happen or more of a frustration about what's already playing out? The reason it's asking this question is because our shoulds tend to live in one of three places. The past, that shouldn't have happened, or that should have happened and it didn't. The present, which might feel like frustration or angst or anger or sometimes the thing that's just bothering you and has your attention right now, the thing that you're currently in, or it is future facing. So these are things that you're anxious about, you're worried about, or maybe you're just attached to, like, oh, I have this big shiny goal, and if I hit it, then everything's going to be okay. That's the future. So this is trying to identify, are we thinking future or present? And I'm going to say this is really more about the future, a fear of what might happen. And I'll say, I'm a little worried that everyone will hate it and regret coming and ask for their money back, right? That would be worst case scenario. So hopefully they don't do that. I'll keep you posted maybe in another video how many refunds I had to issue. Okay, so the specific fear is your clients will hate the event, regret coming, and ask for refunds. What would that outcome mean about you? Ouch. It would mean that, at least how it feels right now, that would mean that I'm a fraud. I'm not good at what I do. So underneath the fear of a bad event is a fear that it would confirm something you already worry about, that you're a fraud. On a scale of 0 to 10, how strong is that feeling right now? This is not crazy strong. I will put this at maybe a 6. Not nothing, but not everything. Okay, so now we're at this part where we're going to invert the perspective. So here's the first question. If the worst case scenario actually played out, clients hate the event, regret coming, ask for refunds, what are 10 or more benefits of that happening? Okay, so this is going to work with my perspective because right now I'm really just This is not going to try to convince me that, no, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be like, no, let's just say the worst case happened. I have a storyline unconsciously that says if that happens, then that is all bad. But that is not true. Inherently, each experience is neutral at its core. But I am only seeing one side of it. So this is going to force me to see the other side. 10 benefits of the worst case happening. Let's see. Um, I would get really valuable feedback on the process. And what I like to do when I'm thinking of benefits is think of downstream benefits. So a benefit of getting valuable feedback on the process would be I could improve the process. And a downstream thing of that is I would improve myself as a coach. Downstream of that would be I would be able to help more people in a more profound way. A downstream positive thing of that would be I would be more likely to be given referrals, testimonials, etc. A downstream benefit of that was I would feel really proud and satisfied in my work. I'm pausing to make sure that we're still recording here. It looks like we're doing fine. Hang in there. We're just in the beginning, folks. I would really, let's see, proud and satisfied in my work. A downstream, I mean, if we're gonna keep going downstream, another benefit here would be my family, maybe specifically my kids would see that it's okay to fail and that we can learn from failure and get better. That's a pretty good lesson. Other benefits, for me, I'm noticing that a lot of this is, the fear for my clients. It's yes, maybe that would mean I'm a fraud, but also I feel like this, oh, I don't want them to have a bad experience. And so I'm going to see if there'd be any benefits for my clients as well, not just for me. Um, let's see. My clients would learn that no guru can save them. Right? Ultimately, they're the ones that have to do the work. And if I suck or if my event sucks, that only highlights that truth for them. A benefit of that is they would likely get better at processing the inner game work independently. Another benefit is they might feel better about their own events. They may actually improve their sense of self-worth by judging how poor I did. All right, so that's 11. I could probably go for more, and I would encourage you to go for more. You want to really feel this thing loosen. But for the purpose of demo, I'm going to hit send and then see what the next part of this process is. Okay, now it says the other side. If the event goes perfectly, clients love it. No one asks for refunds. Everyone is raving. What are 10 or more drawbacks of that happening? So now I'm actually going to look at, okay, this story that I have that if this goes well, then I'm good and everything's good. That's just one side of the coin. Remember, this event, like all events, is inherently neutral. And so if I don't want to be caught up in this, if I want to not live in reaction to emotions or my circumstances, I need to see that neutrality. And the way to do that is to actually look at this side that I'm blind to, which would be, in this case, the drawbacks of a perfect event where everyone says, Blake, you're such a genius. This was great. Okay, so if this goes perfectly, what would be drawbacks? Yikes. This one's hard. A drawback would be I could be less motivated to improve. I would learn less about ways I could improve. Um, I wouldn't be challenged intellectually.
I wouldn't be challenged emotionally, which is probably the biggest thing. And a downstream consequence of that would be the less challenged I am emotionally, the less I grow, the more attached to my ego I would stay. Sorry, you have to watch all my typos here. Um, More downsides. Sound off in the comments. If this was live, I would cheat because this is difficult and it might be difficult for you as you do this process, but this is the workout part of it. So, um, everyone's raving more drawbacks. What would be drawbacks to my clients? Um, my clients might feel some kind of dependency on me for their breakthrough. That dependency could actually slow down their growth. Um, let's see. Hmm. I would be more vulnerable to system breakages because it wasn't tested to the limit. Let's see. More drawbacks. Um, I know. I would feel more pressure in the future to have an equally great event. Um, I could more easily believe that it is me and my excellence that is required for my clients to win. AKA, I could become more dependent on me. I want to push for at least one or two more because I'm still internally feeling that I don't, I'm like not there, that this would be neutral. It's like, boy, this feels like this would be amazing actually if this went perfectly. So let me push, see if I can find a couple more. You know what? I can take what I have here about my family and my kids. It's like, my kids wouldn't get to see how dad responds to feeling embarrassed or down after a loss. And they may feel like they have to be excellent all the time in order to grow and win in work and life. Yeah, that's pretty good. Whenever I'm struggling, by the way, I'll tend to lean towards how does this benefit or how would this not benefit my children because they're so close to my heart that it can really easily trigger my emotional openness, which is what I'm trying to do here, is to break free of this one-sided perspective that I have. So I'm going to send that and then see what our AI facilitator says to do next. And so now it's going to check. Can you see that there's equal benefits and drawbacks to your clients hating the event or asking for refunds? Wait, 1 to 10, where 1 is not at all and 10 feels totally neutral. Um, yeah, I would say maybe not a 10, but I would say an 8. And this is key. If I would have said like a 2 or a 1 or this still doesn't feel neutral, the facilitator would have been like, "Okay, cool. Let's go back to the drawing board. It's not about listing 10 things. It's just about getting to the place where you can see both sides of it." Okay. So that was the heavy lifting. I said earlier, you said that if the event failed, it would mean you're a fraud. You now looked at both sides of the feared outcome and costs. The ideal one, does this meaning still hold? Um, I will say no, because a fraud yeah, a fraud is trying to get away with something to fool people. I actually just want what's best for people, and I'm committed to learning. So, yeah, I think that's loosened a little bit as well. What meaning would I assign now? Ooh, yeah, this is a challenge. I guess I would assign if I were to quote unquote fail, would be it could mean that I am a caring and learning entrepreneur. Really, what's an entrepreneur but someone that tries to help people solve their problems, gets hit in the face over and over and over and again, and but keeps getting back up, right? All right. So now it says, let's look at your role in this. Now we're in a part there. I was kind of neutralizing some self judgment there. Um, Now this is going to ask me to move into a place of find some ownership here. So let's look at your role in this. What are you currently doing or not doing that's feeding this fear? Hmm. Yeah. Um, I would say I haven't fully planned everything out. I haven't sketched scenarios where people might need help or made any contingency plans for that. Um, what else am I doing or not doing that's feeding the fear? I would say I am, you might 2x speed this part of the video. Yeah, I would say that I don't know if this is something that I'm really doing, but I notice I'm agreeing with the thought that this event has to go well in order for me to justify running future events, which isn't really true. Okay. I think that's a thing, right? Uh so I'm not powerless. Let's talk about what's next. Now that you see both sides, what becomes possible that wasn't possible when you could only see one side? What becomes possible that wasn't possible? Well, honestly, I think um being fully present for my clients is what's really possible. It says, good, what value has this situation highlighted for you? Not what you think you should value, but what actually matters to you as a leader in person made visible by this fear. Um, hmm, what do I actually value? Yeah, I see a couple of things, and I wonder if this could help me. I see a value for making great stuff. You know, I put a lot of energy into trying to figure out how to market this event, like how to talk about it. And I realized that I really love to make something that's great, to provide an experience or a process that's really good. And this is reminding me of that value. And I also would say, like, I value being perceived as competent. I mean, that's not like, that's not a value you're going to put on the wall, right? But, um, yeah, I maybe I'll see what the facilitator says here, but I don't know if that's a value I want to keep, but it's there. Something about what you actually care about creating and who you want to be for your clients. When you strip away the external perception piece, what's the value that's driving you to make this event great in the first place? Ah, that's a good question. Um, Yeah, the value that's driving it away, even beneath that, would be yeah, all right, this is the best way I can say it. I value using my skills to help people realize how loved, how capable, and how awesome they are. Ooh, yeah. I feel like in this process, you know you're hitting on something when you're not just breezing through. And I didn't do a lot of this in this demo, but you can go back and forth. Part of the reason this is AI and not a just a form is that you can say, I'm stuck, I'm stuck. I probably should have done that when I was demoing. Maybe I'll do another demo with something else so you can see how that works. But it will help you. And for me, I needed a little bit of extra digging with the value thing because now that's really landing like in my heart. And you don't have to cry or feel chills every time you do this, but those are indicators that the attachment is loosening in a really powerful way. So this asks, when you're living that value fully, what does it actually look like in practice? Yeah, it looks like giving space to my clients and being totally open with where they are at and what they need, not my own agenda. That's not a specific example, but I would say I did this last week on a coaching. Uh, uh, it was a coaching intensive. If you're a coach, if you happen to be in this, you understand there's a difference between your own agenda and creating that space. So it says, what's one action you can do today, specific today, that's in alignment with that value, is to prepare for this event. Um, hmm. Yeah, I want to write down a contingency plan for when someone or everyone is struggling with the exercise. And says, even if the fear is still carrying some weight, can you commit to writing that contingency plan today? Not because the fear is gone, but because it aligns with who you are and what you want, who you want to be for your clients. Yes. And now it's asking how this is a thing that's, I mentioned Stephen Hayes, where it's this idea of, yes, it'd be great if the fear just totally went away entirely, but you can actually live even if it's still present. You can live in a place of openness and welcome to it where it's not driving you anymore. So you actually loosen the attachment, but you can still allow the emotion to be there. It's a beautiful place to be. And this question can help you unlock that, which is, how could that fear or even the intensity around it serve me going forward? Um, yeah, it can highlight for me uh, opportunities to create space for my clients to really thrive. Um, and now it's just going to check. I think when I started, I said it was a 6. Now it's asking where it is now, and I would say, yeah, it's not 100% gone. Maybe because I was doing this recorded, but I would say it's down. I mean, it's at 2. If everyone like I don't feel as gripped by this. I feel kind of excited actually. I actually feel excited if people struggle with it or if they have a hard time or even I don't think this would happen, but if like people got mad, I weirdly feel excited about it because I know that that's going to bring opportunity to see the magic of being present with that and see what might unfold. So I'm going to put a 2. Um, and then it will, as you can see, we've made it all the way here to the end, and it's just going to ask me to record an insight to save it to my dashboard. Um, and it will measure it for me. So that's the process.
All right, that was the release method in action. If you aren't already a client and you would like to try this process for yourself or share it with your team, just go to blakestratton.com and fill in the interest form. And I personally will be in touch with you. Talk to you soon.